Domonique, Foxworth, you always have a delightful way of sitting back, absorbing everything everyone says, and then distilling it down to something simple.
So sexy. Hey. We all talk trash about our coworkers every now and then. Sorry, Jeff. I'ma fight somebody.
I want to win as much as the next guy, but I ain't gonna shake my booty for you. I know I look young, but I'm not that young.
Aaron Rodgers can't be the deodorant if he comes in smelling like ayahuasca-induced vomit.
At some point, the Jets might just jet in, right?
It is time for What Does D. Fox Say, where I will say something that I think people are generally saying, and then we'll see what Domonique D. Fox has to say. So if I say the Lions are the best team in the NFL, what does D. Fox say?
Absolutely. Like, that game on Sunday night wasn't the prettiest version, but they found a way to win. And you watch this team, they're dominating people. And there's some basic truisms about football, and one of them is if your O-line can push around any D-line in football, you're going to be in good shape. I know how to tickle my man.
Yes, you do, fine sir.
Kenny Sewell, Offensive Player of the Year. Let's go.
I'll tell you who would disagree with you is Teddy Bruschi, who yelled at me loudly the other day when I tried to say the Lions are the best team. We'll get back to that. Next, if I say Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC right now, what does D. Fox say?
He's not even the best quarterback in the NFC East. I think Jaden Daniels is the guy right now. What I've seen from him has been incredibly impressive considering what he has around him and the expectations and pressure. All things considered, I think if you ask any coach, which quarterback would you rather have, Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts, for one game or for 5 years? The answer to that question is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I know Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions the other day, but he's also having a pretty good season. Finally, if I were to say the Bears are ruining Caleb Williams, what does D. Fox say?
I would say Caleb Williams would love to have CeeDee Lamb because he can get open quickly, and that's part of the problem. The answer to that question is yes. I think it's partially a bad match in that the things that the Bears do poorly, they work right into Caleb's bad habits. So he's the guy who holds onto the ball. These guys aren't getting open early. The interior offensive line is getting beat fast, and he's stuck back there trying to make magic.
So the problem is, or the question is it the player or is it the coaching? Dan Orlovsky was here yesterday, and he said the answer to that is yes.
He's not making any plays with his feet. The thing that you kind of fell in love with him coming out of school was he was this unbelievably creative athlete, and we saw not doing that. This offense is broken, and they're breaking the quarterback. This is as broken a pass game as you can have in the NFL. There's nothing better, or there's nothing that is getting better.
So the Bears have gone 23 offensive drives since last they scored a touchdown. They haven't scored one in either of their last 2 games. They seem to have completely splintered since giving up that Hail Mary against Washington, and that is what it is. Let's go to the tape first, and then we'll get everybody in on this. Neek, we asked you to put together a little bit of a tape. What exactly is it that's going so wrong right now with Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I think he's holding on to the ball too long, and that's part of we knew that coming in, and I think a lot of the issues with Shane's offense is we're used to Geno Smith in that offense. You got to step back and be a pro and get rid of the ball. If nobody's open, which on a number of these plays, on a number of these
cigarette back there, buddy, like it took a smoke break. You got to throw the freaking ball.
And this is so showing this to Jeff is like showing him a scary movie. This is
unbelievable.
Terrifying for an offensive lineman to watch the expectations that they have. So I think part of the problem is this really great receiving core that we thought that they have, they're not getting open quickly. The routes aren't timed up with Caleb's drop back, and he seems to be back there. And the problem is, in Shane Waldron's offense, we saw Geno use it in a way that he's like, all right, nobody's open, throw it away, next play. And now Caleb, his instinct is to try to make something happen, and his athleticism hasn't translated. He's not nearly as special an athlete amongst NFL players as he was in college.
I loved everything you said, except it doesn't time. You got 5 seconds, something's got to time up. The ball's got to at least come out of your hand in 5 seconds. I mean, my God, like, I could find an open receiver in 5 seconds.
No,
Come on.
So, Graziano, here's the thing, okay? There were 5 rookie quarterbacks taken early in this year, 6 rookie quarterbacks taken early in this year's draft, but one of them didn't get a chance to play because J.J. McCarthy got hurt. There's no question. The one thing no one would debate is that Caleb Williams is the most physically gifted, right? He was the most gifted. He was the most talented, including Jaden Daniels. The things he can do, the magical talent he has. When you consider in the durability factor and everything else, the one thing no one questioned about Caleb was his magic, right?
100%.
Right now, Bo Nix looks better than he does. Jaden Daniels, not even worth talking about. Drake May looks better than he does. Michael Penix hasn't played at all, and obviously neither has McCarthy. So to me, that's why I say those teams have figured out ways to maximize what these kids have, and the Bears have not.
Well, they've also managed to, on the flip side, managed to figure out ways to minimize the negativity.
Better point.
Right? So, like, they've installed things. Bo Nix gets picked where he gets picked because Sean Payton identified him as the perfect quarterback to run Sean Payton's offense.
Right.
So he knew it would work. And Bo Nix took some serious lumps the first month of the season. I mean, it looked bad there, but they had a foundation of things that he was comfortable with, they knew they could build on. You see Cliff Kingsbury doing the same thing with Jaden Daniels in Washington. He has installed things that are foundational that Jaden Daniels feels good about doing. So you can, when you introduce new concepts, it's at least coming from somewhere stable. And with Caleb Williams, we haven't seen that. They gave Caleb Williams the playbook in February at the Combine and figured he would have enough time to figure it out. And maybe he will. Look, this is making of the sausage, right? Like, the development takes time. Geno Smith, been in the league 12 years, right? You talk about him throwing it away. Right. That took some time for him to figure out. Yeah. So it can be hard to watch. But right now, you do wonder if this portends, obviously, change in Chicago.
And let's be real. The issue Caleb Williams had in college was holding the football. That same issue is still in the NFL. The problem with the NFL is it's going to get exposed a lot quicker. And this whole idea that it's on the coaching itself, I understand trying to help him, but he has the most sacks in the NFL when his O-line is winning. That means you're not. That means as a player you're not doing your part. I remember Tom Moore used to tell Peyton Manning all the time, 1, 2, 3, throw it away. That's how you live in the NFL.
This is an AFC North
I like it.
edition. Jeff, if I said Lamar Jackson is going to overcome that Ravens defense and win the Super Bowl, is that fact or fiction?
I'm saying fiction. I love Lamar. I love this offense. It can roll, but they give up too many points. They give up fourth quarter leads. All of those things are tough to overcome. When you start playing playoff style teams over and over, you got to be able to shut people down and get people off the field. And right now, I just don't trust that Ravens defense.
Well, last week they got torched by Joe Burrow and the Bengals. So Graz, let's go to them. If I said Burrow's Bengals are going to make the playoffs, is that fact or fiction?
I'm going to say fact, because as usual, I'm going to be the optimist and the positive one.
Yes, you are.
Running people down. I think the Bengals still have a shot. Look, try as they might, they have been unable to fall out of the AFC playoff picture. We put that up earlier, right? Broncos have the 5 seed right now at 5-5, or 7 seed right now at 5-5. Bengals are 4-6. They're right there. They're obviously good enough to beat anyone. They just have to start doing it. I think they can.
And then the team that all the others in the division are looking up at is Pittsburgh. Nick, if I said Russell Wilson and the Steelers are legit Super Bowl contenders, is that fact or fiction?
Yeah, I gotta go. When you said legit, that's the one that makes me go to fiction. Like, I think that it's.
How about if I said illegitimate Super Bowl contenders?
I mean, if you just say Super Bowl contenders, I'll be like, yeah, they get in the tournament and maybe they could get hot. But then you say legit. That's like I assume that they're going to get there. Like, no. This team is playing well now. Their defense is going to be good no matter where you put them or who they play against. But their offense consists of Russell throwing up contested balls to Pickens and Mike Williams now, and that to me doesn't feel like much of an offense.
All right, so look, the AFC. Who are legit Super Bowl contenders if Russell Wilson and the Steelers are not? Since Russell Wilson took over, their offense is scoring big numbers. Now, it's been against the Giants, the Jets, and Washington, which is not a great defense either. It's a very good win. They're not a great defense, though.
Yeah,
but one way or another, I mean, Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Who else is more legit than they are?
No, I mean, I think if the Texans get healthy, their defense is really good. They could fall into that category also. But given what we have out there right now, I think that you're right. You name those teams. But Nico Collins comes back. I think that really changes the Texans.
The issue for the Texans is pressure, being able to solve the pressure problem. The same issue that they're talking about with the Steelers. Here, when you start playing playoff-style defenses, the deep ball, the 50-50s just don't pay off. And you see that as defenses start to lock you down. That makes an issue. You have to be able to control the game with the run game. The Steelers have gotten better. I'm not trying to diminish what they've done. They would have to win it because their defense plays lights out, and you only have to score 21-ish type points.
We'll see them against the Ravens coming up here real soon, and I think that'll be a real test for their defense. The Ravens' offense is going to be impressive, and if they get in a shootout, I think that's the question is when they get in a situation where they have to throw the ball, and just these moon balls, there's not enough to build an offense around.
That game is this week, actually, in Pittsburgh. Graz, and I brought this up with Hembo on the radio yesterday, it also will help us answer a question that I don't know what the answer to is. In this day and age, can you win a championship with a team that is primarily predicated on defense? Like, I know people will say Kansas City was that last year, but when you have Patrick Mahomes, that doesn't even count.
They still had to outscore Buffalo in a playoff game. Like, at some point, you're going to have to.
If you are counting on your defense to take you there, in this day and age, can you win the whole thing?
I don't think you can be like the kind of conservative offense the Steelers. And the moon balls are one thing, but like the foundation that the Steelers offense wants to build on is the run game and control the game. And I don't. Eventually, you're going to have to put up a 30-point game to win in the postseason. I just feel like we've seen it too much. And look, we're going to see. Of their 8 remaining games, 6 are their division games, right? So even like Cleveland, that's a tough defense, right? So it's like they're going to be difficult games. They're going to have to play differently than they did against the New York teams.
Unexpected explosive plays. Foxworth and I talk about this all the time. It is vital, and it has to come from your run game, right? And Najee Harris got to break one from 7 yards to 70 yards. That just doesn't happen for the Steelers right now. That's really what's going to open it up for them.
The schedule is brutal.
Yeah, look, that's
that is brutal.
We're going to know, right? If they get through this and they're 13-4, then we're going to say, all right, you know what? Yeah, they look good. They've beaten all these teams.
The Browns beat the Ravens. Like that's the problem. You're not going to have Deshaun Watson, so you don't know what their offense is going to. It's just there's a lot of tough games in those when you're mixing it up. It just ain't easy.
Our hang-up is with their offense, and their offense hasn't been put in a situation where they have to carry this team. It's going to happen at some point in this run, and certainly in a 3-game run to the Super Bowl, there's going to come a situation where you can't just throw it up to Pickens. And I don't think anyone believes that this offense is capable of winning that way.
The only thing I'll say is the AFC hasn't turned out to be what we thought it was going to be.
Fact.
We talked about this murderer's row of all these great quarterbacks and everything. It doesn't really look that way.
Chiefs haven't lost.
Chiefs haven't lost. No, I mean, they're the team to beat. Everyone believes
in that respect, it's what we thought it would be.
I think everyone to some degree believes in Baltimore, and Buffalo has earned. I mean, they're 8-2, and they have Josh Allen, so you got to.
Chargers are coming.
Who else?
Chargers are looking good. They're coming, man.
Cincinnati again is a threat to win the game, even if they don't always do it.
But that's who we're talking about. So if we're talking about them, I think we got to be talking about the Steelers too.